Hi everybody and welcome to Permaculture Malaga. We've had some requests from some of you who want to know what we're doing at the moment and what the house looks like. So in this episode we're going to look at the house, what we've been doing, where we are, and we'll give you an introduction to the site analysis of this place. But let me start with a short tour of the house. I'm not going to go through what we're going to do, just what's here right now, while we still have some light. So you can see the house behind me. Here's the house, and we have an area here where you can see the construction material of the house. It's made out of brick. This house is about 200 years old. Roof, got a bit of growth on the roof tiles, tiling on the roof. Over here is the existing entrance to the house. As you can see, it's not in prime condition. It has been better. And if you look at the roof, well, it's still on, but it needs a slight bit of repair here and there, lack of paint, you know. The house is actually built up of several parts which are put together in various ways. There's one section with 4 rooms, which is the one we're in right now. There is a small outbuilding here outside, which is connected to the house but not directly. I think it has been, or there's been a window or something once. Moving on, in the background you can see what's going to be the kitchen section. Over here, this used to be the goat stable under the carob tree. Nice big carob tree down to the arroyo. There's another section over here. We have some additional tiles we can use, which is also, I think, has been some sort of kitchen or similar, and you can see there's another addition over here. I'll just go around to the other side of the house so that you can see it from there and see what it looks like. As you can see, it's the roof is constructed in such a way as you have a wall going down the middle of the house carrying each side of the roof. I think this is a traditional way to build here in Spain. Again, this is the section with the 4 rooms. I'm not going to go in there, I'm just going to go over here where we have a western terrace and another room in there. And I'm just going to go over to the other side of the house and show you the kitchen area. Over here is on the south side of the house. This is going to be another terrace. We have an bread oven that needs a bit of repair, but we have a lovely view out here. And this is going to be the view from the kitchen window. I'm not going to do too much more on the house because I'll get back to that when we'll show you how we're going to renovate the house. At the moment we are at the stage where we filed a whole lot of paperwork to the Department of Making You Feel Sad, and they need to find the right person to put the right stamps on the right pieces of paper and hopefully they have everything they need. So hopefully in a month or something like that we will get all the necessary permissions to do the renovation of the house, and yeah, and if not, they will probably need even more paperwork for their stamps. But let's see in a month how that goes. I'll show you now what we've been doing. So right here, just one level above the road, is where we've been working. I'll go through this when I go through the implementation of a design later, but the first things you want to do on a site is get Zone 0 and Zone 1 working. Zone 0, as I said, we filed the paper. I'll just try that again. Filed the paperwork to the authorities, and we can't do anything more at that right now. So we should be working on Zone 1, which is going to be around the house. But that area is going to be filled with workers and people, materials, tools and whatnot. So any work we would be doing there would either be ruined, or we would be in the way of the workers and so on and so forth. So we moved up to this terrace here, which is just one level above, and it's a fairly flat area. Another carob tree over here and the arroyo over there. And this is going to be a Zone 2 area. And we've started to create the earthworks necessary for this area. So, where do you start with earthworks? Where do you start in anything? Well, you go to the top of the watershed. Looking at the terrace as a whole here, you can see that we have a head cut here.
Yeah, and I'm back. No, one who showed you all those acorns. That's me.
That's you. Right. We have a head cut here at the top of the terrace. So this is where the water comes down onto the terrace. Actually, we have spill over here as well. So what we need to do is follow the water streams up. So if we go up from the head cut,
here it goes down. This is kind of where it goes down. Like that.
Now I'm standing directly on top of the head cut, and you can see here the gully coming down.
Yeah, and I found one of those kind of rocks that fall out of the cliff.
Exactly.
It's not red like the other ones, but I found one.
Yeah.
Like up there?
Yeah, exactly. That's the cast.
Yeah.
Right. I want to follow this gully, going up,
Yeah.
and going up,
This
and going up,
is where it goes down.
going up,
Water.
and actually it continues up, and up, and up, and up, and up. So, if we should do this correctly, we should start all the way at the top. But since we would like to get this terrace done, ready for next year, we've decided to go as far as this. So we've decided to start here. There's an olive tree, and this is as far up as we will go, because this was as far as we thought we could make it and still get the terrace going. As you can hear, our children are here with us on the property.
Yeah.
Right, so what did we do with this tree? We actually tried to create a bowl around it. You probably can see some of it here.
Well,
We've not
behind
finished.
there were that ball. That's where the ball is.
Exactly, that's where the bowl is. We've created a massive bowl around the tree, and the reason is we wanted to catch all the water coming down from this ridge. Because the water on the edge over here will be running down this side and down into the arroyo. And the water we wanted to catch on this side is the water that's creating the head cut by the water tank, which we try to prevent. What we want to do is direct the water down through the bowl.
And then make it go into where I stand.
Exactly, into the spillway.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go back into the construction of this later. Then we go down to the next tree, which is the carob tree.
Yeah.
So now we're standing under the carob tree, and you can see we've started on the next bowl here.
Yeah, and here we have what was gonna make water gonna go down.
Exactly, but that's the next part. Right now we're looking at the bowl under the tree.
This is the bowl.
Exactly.
And the bowl here.
Yes. And why did we go as far as here? Well, down this slope is where the water usually goes if it doesn't go down the head cut. And where does it end? Right on the house.
And that's what we don't want.
No, we don't want the water to go to the house. So that's why we try to catch as much water here in this bowl as possible and direct the water. And that was where Lucas was showing you. The idea is that when this bowl fills, there's a spillway, a level spillway.
Then it goes down this line. And that line. And here, but then you maybe can't see it, but the line where we have to get it to go down there.
Exactly. And the idea is to run it over the head cut. I'm not too worried about any more erosion because we're already down to bedrock here. And what we're going to create down just below the head cut is a sunny bowl or something similar to catch the water, and then maybe a one rock dam running around the sunny bowl at a distance. And then we have a fairly level terrace here
But
where we can plant on, and hopefully it has enough water.
but where I got down, when I got down there, I took this way. So I kind of walked with the stream of water.
Exactly. The terrace then goes down towards the house also, and we're going to create a series of steps with one rock dams, sort of like a terrace, one rock terrace you could call them. And from there on we're going to direct the water to just behind where the car is, where we've been building a small keyhole garden under that olive tree with the compost we've been producing at home.
Yeah.
I'll show that to you in a moment. Here you can see that the top bowl, we've been starting to lining it with rocks. It is impossible in this kind of soil to construct anything,
Yeah.
a berm, anything that will hold water. It is simply dust. So we take the resource that we have plenty of, and those are rocks, and we're lining the bowls and the diversion channels and everything with rocks. This is our resource, this is what we've got, and that's what's gonna hold the water here. And we're gonna line all the others with rocks as well.
And I found actually place that was a bay with black dirt, but now it's more like like rounder.
Yeah, actually, as you can see, it's all brown, dusty, and only if you go very close to the trees, as Lucas pointed out,
Here,
underneath,
right here.
underneath,
I found some black dirt, but now it's turned into
yeah,
brown black.
as soon as you remove the top layer here of whatever is, and that's not really very much, that is the organic layer on top of it, you can find a little bit of something that resembles real dark soil, but only very close to the trees.
Only. So that's how I found some black dirt. And maybe don't know how. I just removed all the things that was on, and then removed the rock that was here. Then I found some black dirt, and that was amazing.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Here we are at our keyhole slash compost pile.
Here we have some hope.
Yeah, you can see that it doesn't really look much like a compost pile.
But it's because we have all hay and everything on it.
Exactly. And the reason we're doing this like this, we wanted to use our compost here on site. But when you're in a dry climate like this, that can pose some challenges. If you just leave it in a normal compost slash kitchen scrap pile and wait for it to compost, it will simply just dry out.
And
If you yeah.
over here there's some cereal.
Yeah, but I just wanted to explain to the people what we're doing and why we're doing it. If you do like a Jeff Lawton style giant compost pile and compost everything in 18 days, that's possible, but it requires a whole lot of water, and that's one of the things we really don't have here, at the moment anyway. So you can do that if you have some animals that you feed your animals with your kitchen scraps. That would work. That would be one of the best ways to compost in a climate like this. Or you could do worm compost. We can also do what we do, which is essentially taking your kitchen scraps, putting them in, and this is in place where we want them. I don't want to move all this stuff around later. Filling up with some carbon material in between, so you always cover with carbon material, and then just fill more kitchen scraps, carbon material, more kitchen scraps, carbon material. This way you can hold whatever little moisture is in your kitchen scraps in there for as long as possible, and you can you have no smell. I mean, this doesn't smell, and we've had twice, I think, where there's been an animal in it. I think it was a dog, someone walking their dog here. But otherwise, we have had no problem. And a rat. Well, the rat was dead when we came here.
Yeah, but
it was lying on the road, and now it's in the compost pile.
Yeah.
So this is one way. Animals are another way. You can do worm composting, but animals and worm composting, we are not living on site, so...
And there's no worms here.
And there's no worms, but we could bring in the worms.
But then we have to buy them.
Exactly, but we would also have to buy chickens if we want to use those.
Yeah.
But generally, we try to compost this on site where we're going to use it, and the whole thing with worms or chickens, we're going to do that when we move in here. So this is just a way of using the kitchen scraps as best as we can at the moment, and hopefully when the rains come, this is going to be wet and going to be decomposing underneath, and then we can plant in this in the spring.
Now, you maybe, if you don't know that it's real, if you don't understand why I'm saying that, maybe you, and why it's compost, maybe you can see it of all those wasps.
Actually, the wasps aren't in the compost. The wasps arrive when we throw in new kitchen scraps, and as soon as we cover them with hay, dried grass, the wasps go away. Then they can't smell it either.